Hello! Today I've got sort of a review and sort of just a how I use nail art brushes video for you. Technically I do sort of want to make this a review of these nail art brushes, but it's actually the exact same set that I already had. Only this set is obviously new and I'm going to treat this much better than I did the old set, because the old set was like... Well, I mean it used to look like this and then I started using it and I didn't clean them properly and now they sort of look less decent. I mean, those of you who watch my nail art videos probably know that they sort of got a stiff and all, and that's just not perfect. Makes them a bit harder to use and all. So yeah, I actually bought this new set at Born Pretty store. Like, occasionally on Tuesdays I have reviews of products of them that they send to me for review. But I actually bought this set myself. Just thought I'd tell you that. Yeah, this is basically 12 nail art brushes. I'll just zoom you in for a moment. Of course you'll see them even better in a moment, but yeah, this is basically it. 12 nail art brushes, and yeah, basically there's all sorts of nail art brushes, stripers, fan brushes, detail brushes, angled brushes, whatever, and yep, really diverse and really useful. In terms of quality, like I said, I personally didn't treat the last set I had very well. Yet they're still actually useful. Like, they didn't fall apart, the hairs don't fall out, the hairs just get stiff if you don't like after using them you need to clean them with nail polish remover and just an old towel or something, just to be sure that the hairs stay like smooth and not stiff. And that's really the only thing that's like wrong with the old set. That the hairs have gotten stiff, but that's more like because I didn't properly take care of them than the quality of the brushes. Because like I said, they still have all their hair and they still haven't fallen apart, so that's really good. So yeah, basically this is the exact same thing. So I expect these to last as well as the other ones did. So yeah, so basically that was the review part already. I really like them, I really recommend them because they're seriously cheap and they're seriously like... There's 12 brushes, so you can really just practice with them, which is really nice. So yeah, let's move on to the actual like testing of the brushes. So this is what the nail art brushes look like in the packaging. They just come in a small little bag, which all shows them really well. And I've just sorted them here. These are the sort of flat top brushes. I'm not sure if they have any sort of official names. It's just, you know how I often hear them being called. Then there's the striper brushes. A long one, a shorter one, and a even shorter one. And then here are the detail brushes. There's a lot of detail brushes in here, which I like because, you know, especially with acrylic paints, I often use a lot of them. There's also 2 fan brushes, which are also handy for a lot of things. And then there's this angled brush, which sort of looks like an eyeliner brush. And lastly there's a really small dotting tool. And I'll just start out with showing you what I use the flat top brushes for. Of course, it's just how I personally choose to use the brushes. It's not like there's like a right and a wrong way to use them. It's just what I use them for. But yeah, I always try to get my cuticles as tidy as possible when doing my nails. But you know, it's almost impossible to not make any mistakes. So what I do is use nail polish remover and a flat top brush to just clean up the edges, as you can see here. And I like using a flat top brush for that simply because, I don't know, just I think because the flat end of it just gives me more control. This is just a type of brush where I get it the most tidy with. And then there's the angled brush. You could actually use the flat top brush for this as well, but I prefer to use the angled brush, the one stroke technique. I still have to practice at it, but I find it easier to do it with an angled brush rather than with a regular flat top brush. Simply because, you know, the angle of the angled brush just makes it easier for me to put it onto my nails, but it might make a difference that I usually do things like this in front of a camera, so I might just be working in a weird angle to begin with. And then there's the striper brushes, which of course can be used to make stripes. Personally, I usually use the like the middle length, but I like the long one as well. And then there's all the detail brushes. I use these with both nail polish and acrylic paint. This time I just showed it with nail polish, and yeah, I just use this to make sort of tinier details, such as this random plant thingy that I just made up on the go. And then there's the fan brushes. And there's basically two things I like to use them for. I like to make sort of sketchy backgrounds. You know, the sort of not very tidy backgrounds for nail art on my nails, for which I just, as you could see, put nail polish on the brush and then just carefully take it over my nail. And what I also use it for is for glitter and that furry stuff that used to be in fashion, and yeah, things like that. Just things that I can scoop onto the nail, onto the wet nail polish, and carefully stick there and then just brush off the excess. It's also really useful for that. And then lastly we have the small dotting tool. Personally, for dotting tools I usually prefer to use the bigger packages, like with many dotting tools in it of different sizes, because this one is, as you can see, quite small. But if you just want to make small dots, then it's very useful for that, of course. But another thing I like to use it for is to pick up rhinestones and just anything you can stick onto your nails. So what I usually do is just make a spot, a large spot as you can see here, and then with some nail polish still on it, grab the rhinestone with the dotting tool and put it there. And yeah, that's what I use all these nail art brushes for. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you very much for watching. Bye! Green in the pan, but then on my hand it looks more of a blue shade. Really cool. Can't wait to use it in an eyeliner.